Hello, welcome. You are listening to Dr. Sushma Singh. Today in Unit 31, Peasants Movements, let us start our lecture with topic the Tibhaga Movement 1946 to 47. The Tibhaga movement was manifested in the undivided Bengal in the mid-1940s, centering around a demand for Tibhaga, mean two-thirds shares, by sharecroppers of their produce for themselves, instead of one half traditionally given to them by the jotedars, a class of intermediary landowners. This movement grew against the backdrop of the flourishing interest of the intermediary class of the landowners on the one hand and that of the deterioration of the economic status of the agricultural laborers, sharecroppers and poor peasants on the other. The deteriorating economic condition of the lowest strata was reflected in the rapid expansion in the number of the sharecroppers and agricultural laborers in the Bengal Agrarian Society of the time. Report of the Land Revenue Commission in 1940 observed that of the 8,54,074 required acres all over the Bengal province, undivided Bengal, 5,92,335 acres were transferred, of which 31.7% was turned over a burgha and 24.6% of under tenants. The traders, moneylenders and the intermediary landowners exploited to the hilt the poverty of the poor peasant and lent them money at usurious rates of interest. When the poor peasant was unable to repay the debt and lost his land to the creditor, he was resettled on the same land on condition that he handed over half of the produce to the creditor. The peasants who were not settled on it as sharecroppers became agricultural laborers. The Land Revenue Commission pointed out in 1940 that the agricultural laborers constitute 22.5% of the total number of families of Bengal. The exploitative intermediary systems of land tenure, which was introduced through the permanent settlement, has furthered the process of downward mobilization of the peasantry of Bengal. The emerging patterns of exploitation and social oppression, impoverishment and pauperization of the peasantry got institutionalized during the British rule. Questions pertaining to the deteriorating economic condition of the peasantry received organized focus since early 1920s with the formation of the Communist Party of India (CPI) 1921. The Workers' and Peasant Party WPP 1922 and the Krishak Praja Party KPP in 1929. The Bengal Kisan Sabha (BKS), a provincial branch of All India Kisan Sabha, was formed in 1936. The KPP won the provincial election with promise to abolish the intermediary system of land ownership. In alliance with the Congress, it formed the first popular ministry in Bengal and subsequently appointed the Land Revenue Commission in 1938 to look into the agrarian issues. This commission recommended in 1940 all Bagidars should be treated as tenants, that the share of the crops legally recoverable from them should be one-third instead of half. However, as the KPP did a volte-face on agrarian problems, the government showed no urgency for implementing the recommendation of the Land Revenue Commission. The AIKS began to radicalize its agrarian program. In November 1946, the BKS passed a resolution in Calcutta for Tibhaga, two-thirds share of the produced crops, for the sharecroppers and Langaljar Janinta land to the tillers. North Bengal, especially the Dinapur district, became center of the BKS activism because of the high intensity of the sharecropping system of land cultivation there. The poor peasantry of Khanpur village, who were mostly from the scheduled caste Rajbansi, Polai and Mali, the scheduled tribes, the Oron, Kolkamar, Santhal and the ex-tribes Mahanto, responded spontaneously to this movement. When the movement escalated into mass action, the sharecroppers began to harvest paddy and carry it to their own khalan, mean courtyards, under the instructions of the local leaders. In a surcharged situation of heightening tension, the local landowner filed a FIR against the sharecroppers. Early on the morning of the 20th February 1947, police entered the village and arrested a few sharecroppers. This news spread like wildfire all over the village, and an alarm was raised by the beating of drums, blowing conch shells, and beating gongs and utensils by the peasant women. The village and its environs reverberated to the sounds of drums, tin jars, gongs, and conch shells. A vast mass of poor peasants and sharecroppers from both Khanpur and its neighboring villages, armed with bows and arrows, lathis and axes, and surged on the police. They demanded the release of their sharecroppers. But the police were adamant and ended up firing 119 rounds, injuring hundreds and killing 22 sharecroppers, including 2 women. This episode of Khanpur triggered off the Tibhaga movement very quickly in the most part of the Bengal. Poor peasants, ignoring their conventional ties with the landowners, declined to share half of their produce with the landowners. Protest, firing, killing became part of this agrarian society in 1946. However, the colonial rulers used all possible repressive measures to crush this movement by introducing a reign of terror in the rural areas. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.